The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, Dr. Barry. Hello, Psych Nerds. Hello, Sofa Squad. How's it going?
So glad to be here. This trial has been such a mess. Like, I am so glad that I get to sit down and talk with you about it.
I'm very excited that you've taken time out of your schedule to come and talk about this because so much has gone on. Just the last couple of days, so much has gone on. I was like, we don't even have to really think of something to talk about. There's so much to go over with it. It is absolutely crazy. Now, before we started off, you brought up to me like the topic of the moment with this, and that was the testimony of the private investigator from yesterday. So let's dive in and just tell me your thoughts on this.
The private investigator from yesterday, he was so thorough in his investigation. He was hired by the Richins estate, by Eric's estate, to, I think, just clarify, was this an accidental issue or was this a crime? And he, and the defense tried to attack his credibility, to which he was prepared. For anything that they came at him with. He was like the looks he was giving them, and I feel like it got worse when he put that neck brace on. I feel like he made his neck roll a little bit more. He was over here sipping his water like, I didn't break into the safe. We bumped the safe. Like he seemed to be enjoying himself. So you rarely see somebody that seems glad to be on the stand. Now, he was sending all the indications that the defense should have just said, maybe asked a few questions, but she asked way too many questions. And I think their whole theory is that he was biased and that he was on, but that didn't, their questions really didn't get at that. Like, I don't know what the point of that cross-examination was.
I feel like what happened at a certain point is she got flustered because he was eating her up so much. And I feel like, because there's almost like a level of, and I don't know how to explain it, but like her confidence that she usually comes with, or strong, like I started seeing that go away. And I was like, I think she is flustered. Like he got to her. As
her confidence went down, his went up.
Mm-hmm.
Because she would try to say like, oh, you don't have to follow regular police procedures. And he would be like, I don't like that characterization. Like he would say that. Like he was like, you're mischaracterized. Like you're trying to make it sound like I'm out here being unethical. And he's like, I follow lawyers, like what the lawyers say. And at one point she was like, well, you know, I don't know, like you went into the house and he was like, I had Kouri's lawyer's permission to go into the house. Like everything she tried, it did not work. And it just kept getting worse and worse. I kept wanting them to let him go because so he had some like major surgery and he's like not on any pain medicine. Now he seemed to be thoroughly enjoying himself. Like he seemed to be glad to be out the house. He
This was his trip of the month. He was like, let's go.
what are your thoughts on this one?
I totally agree with everything you said so far. And one of the things also like with his preparedness that I was floored is she would ask him about something and he would say like, I'm making this up. No, on January 19th of 2023, I looked at this document and it said blank. I'm like, how? I can't even remember why I walked in the other room. And he's like, boom, 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 boom. He was so prepared. It was wild. And the defense, oftentimes, I feel like my own unprofessional opinion is that they'll ask stuff to people, not even necessarily him, that they don't really even know the answer to. It's almost like well, we'll figure it out afterward. And this was not the person to do that with, right? And so he had so many facts. And like you said, where they kept asking him stuff and kept asking him stuff and they needed to back away. And I think that this is one of the defense's weak spots with everyone is they overdo it. And by overdoing it, it makes their client look worse and it makes them look more unprepared. Case in point, they thought they had this gotcha moment about, so you don't remember taking a laptop out of the house and you don't remember doing this. And he looked at it. He's like, that's my computer. That's my laptop. And it's just like, and she's like, okay, well, and I'm like, how would you not have, and somebody said this in or in the chat room or whatever. They were like, they're supposed to have interviewed all these witnesses before this. And it's clear that they haven't. And I was like, I didn't even think about that.
And I don't know if they reviewed because remember, this is Kouri's second team. So I don't know if her prior team interviewed him. And also, I don't know that the witnesses have to cooperate with the defense requests to be interviewed in advance. I think experts do, but sometimes, because I remember there was one case where it was the Cardi B case where the doctor refused to cooperate, like to meet with the person that was making the claims against Cardi B, or I think that's the way it went. But the person that wasn't on Cardi B's side, her doctors refused to talk with those people before court. So I don't know if they just didn't talk to him or if the other team talked to him. And I don't know that they knew exactly what he was going to say and what the state was going to ask, what the state was going to attempt to elicit. They tried to make it. He seemed happy to make his 100,000, more than 100,000.
I was like,
yeah,
100,000. I was like, wow.
I think it's over years. It's over, and it was over 900 hours. He's like, oh no, don't get it wrong. This was my rate for that, but that the technical stuff, that's $200 an hour. And it's like I gave them a discount at $200.
Right. And he also wasn't trying to hide anything. Right. Like he was just like, and that goes so far with the jury, in my opinion, because it goes far with me when I'm like, this person's putting it out there. They're not trying to be shifty. They're not trying to be shady.
And he wasn't that way with the state. Like he seemed to be very straight, but the state wasn't asking him off the wall questions and they weren't trying to attack his or Eric's credibility, because I think the defense was also trying to throw things in of like, oh, didn't you see those messages about a possible affair between him and Bryce? And I'm sure the jury has to have Bryce, if they're watching like we are, and they might not be because Bryce has nothing to do with, but I still need to know where Bryce's pants are. I have questions. How do we lose our pants? Like, did we end up in, like, did we spill something on our pants? Like, I have so many questions for Bryce.
And this is a common thing, it seems like. He loses his pants at every gathering, it seems. So, it's just like, okay, this is Bryce's thing.
Like,
okay.
when the PI says, that's just Bryce. He's like, if you know Bryce,
Have you ever met like eternal frat bro type dudes? That's like, without knowing him, that's just immediately what I go to. I'm like, this is just a grown up frat boy, right? Like, something like that.
And I'm pretty sure those like sexting messages that she was trying to bring it up. I'm pretty sure it was something like it was probably some locker room banter or whatever. Like it was probably like, but I don't think it was literal of say, and she was taking it literally. And he's looking at her like, that's a joke.
That's a great example of how, to me, the defense makes themselves look so bad. And there was a couple of things that took place with that. First of all, when they showed the jury, and thank heavens he did this, when they were like, so you do see where this text message, it says they were going to have an open relationship. And he's looked at her like that, and he read the whole thing, and he was like, yeah, it says Kouri talked about having an open relationship, so I'm bringing you home tonight. It's a joke. And so when the jury sees, oh, so they're willing to kind of get a little shifty, and he put her on blast. The other thing was when she was like, didn't Kouri called you and reached out and tried to have a conversation? And he's like, yeah, and I told her it was completely inappropriate. I contacted her lawyer. I tried to set up an interview numerous times, and she wouldn't do it. And in fact, she was calling me because she was mad about something. And all the defense said was, but she called you. And it's like, girl, stop. And that's where I think he flustered her. And she didn't. She was just like, bleh.
And he threw in, after I contacted her business associates. So I think he was letting people know that she was a fraud. And she was probably, because she's trying to work this deal with the mansion and everything. And like he got so much information in that I don't think would have came in otherwise, because we find out he's the one that realized there were all of these messages with Carmen and Carmen's history. And so he's just like, hey, let's look into this more. And then he's the one that let the state know, because he was following Carmen's her court trial. He's like, oh, she's locked up. Y'all might want to go talk to her. And it wasn't saying get her to lie, get her. It was just like, hey, she's a captive. She's a captive audience. Like, she's not going anywhere for a while, and she's facing some serious charges. So she might be motivated to have a conversation with y'all. And so all the things he said, it made sense to me. And the defense just tried, in my opinion, from what I saw, it seemed like they were trying to make something out of nothing, which just made it more painful, because their cross-examination probably could have been 30 minutes. But it was like, it seemed like forever. I think I was watching it on 2x speed, or I was watching it live. I don't remember. But it just felt like forever.
Oh, it did. It felt like it went on forever and ever. Yesterday, so him being on the stand this whole time on the stand was the biggest heartbeat of the day for me, if you will, where I was just like, okay, I'm dialed in. And then with the defense, cross-examining him, whatever, that was just so painful and cringy, so much of it. And like you said, he was able to get so much more information in that made Kouri look horrible by them just continuing to go forth and make nothing out of try and make something out of nothing. Yeah, he's definitely going on our end of year awards list for something. I don't know what we need to put him down for, but
comical. Like, I don't know. Like, or best witness of, but he has to go down for something on our end of year crimies. Like, I don't
the crimies. Crimies. Another thing too, like, okay, so the Sarah Boone interrogation video, where it's like a classic, I feel like his testimony time on the stand is going to be another classic just thing to rewatch from time to time for people to know the context, because it had all the stuff there. It was like funny, it was shocking, it was all, I mean, even him coming in where he sits down, he gets up with a cane, you're like, what happened to this guy? It's like, I just had the worst neck surgery you can imagine, and he pulls this big metal thing out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And especially when you said about when he put it on halfway through, he's like, this is getting really painful sitting here, I need to slap this puppy on.
and someone in the comments, they called them boo thing. They really liked Kouri's former lover's testimony. Really, the state didn't get him to say much. So the state basically just, because I think he was loose cannon. And I think if they had just, I think they didn't know what he was going to say. And so all they were trying to do was introduce his messages and show that him and Kouri were talking on, like, as she's telling her husband that she's on her way home, she's not, and she's with him. And so, for the Valentine's Day thing, and I think they wanted to show just more of those messages. I don't think we've talked about his testimony, have we?
I was just gonna ask you if we've
Okay,
talked
good.
about that one because we definitely need
Oh,
to.
yeah,
I'm gonna close this bedroom door real quick because the dogs are
go on ahead,
barking.
go on ahead. Hey, chat. Thank you all for being here. Oh, so credit goes to Kathy from Gossip Rumor and Innuendo for the nickname Boothang. I like it.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Um, so yeah, definitely. I don't think we've talked about that, and that was going to be my next question. Let's
Let's go.
definitely talk about him. Um, so this is my thing with him.
Mhm.
I believed him. I felt like when he came out there, he had that whole drama thing where he was like the whole truth, but it was very weird because we're like, what? We haven't seen someone do this. What's he talking about?
And I don't know why he said that, but maybe if they were getting into, like, the details of, like, maybe he didn't want to share if he was asked questions about, like, how, because they really didn't get into the nitty-gritty of his romantic relationship with Kouri. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think he knew exactly what they were going to ask. Do you know? So I don't know why he did that in front of the jury, but I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, that part was odd and different. And I also wonder too, and I don't know if other people have heard this from like, say, Emily D. Baker or other law channels. I got the vibe that he was coming in with a scope of what he was allowed to talk about. And I felt like he also at this point probably wanted to say something in the realm of he felt bad, you know what I mean? Because I felt like there was one level. Well, first of all, he talked to another channel after his testimony, and he was like, I wasn't heartbroken. I, am heartbroken for the three kids, for Eric, for what is it? The family of Eric, and I feel bad for Kouri in the situation she's in now.
Mhm.
So I feel like there was that going on. And probably he looked back over things and he did say, when I started looking back over stuff, I think he's like, she did it. And I feel really bad and I'm inadvertently in here. Then you can talk about the whole thing too of like, this is just kind of, the South Carolina, dude having these ushy gushy text messages that are super intimate put out there. He knows like, oh, there's all these dudes in the room here listening to all this stuff I'm saying. All these layers going on, and Corey's right there. And it's just like, and behind her is the family of the people. He reached out to them right away when he found this out and was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I don't think that he knew she was going to kill him. I think he thought she was going to get a divorce. I think he was having fun with the situation. I
Mhm.
think he was her dirty little secret. And, there's a lot of layers to the relationship is what I'm getting at. And that all came out in the stand. And he was just like, yikes.
Yeah, and I agree. Somebody in the comments mentioned that he looked humiliated. To me, he looked embarrassed. I think it was also emotional for him to not be able to say, because I think he wanted to explain things with the messages, and they were just having him read them and just confirm that that's what the message was, and he wasn't able to say anything beyond that. There are a lot of allegations about his sobriety, and I don't have any knowledge. Like, to me, he came off anxious, maybe, like, he didn't, to me, he didn't come off looking like he was under the influence of anything. He came off a little either ADHD or PTSD. I don't know him, I can't diagnose him, but, like, some of what he was saying and what he was doing, it just gave me, it just made me wonder if, because they talked about his combat history, and it was odd to me that after Corey's husband died, that she would ask him that specific question, and that she would Google the things that she Googled. And I'm really interested to see what happens when this finally gets to the jury.
What did you think about when he was talking about well, or not when they showed the text messages and a series of them where she's asking him about drugs and like, have you done drugs? And when was the last time? And blah, 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 blah. Like I took from that, and I'm curious at your thoughts, see if they match up or whatever. I was like, she's either trying to get the drugs from him or trying to fish out information, or possibly like, hey, maybe I could, throw things off on him if something goes sideways, but I don't think she thinks things through that much. I think he was the first person she wanted to get the drugs from. And so she was going to him.
Yeah. That's what it made me think as well. Old Soul asked a great question of what do we think about Kouri? She was snacking. This man is up here having a whole mental breakdown, and the jury's called out. Now, granted, she doesn't have a lot of time to eat snacks, but like that seemed, it just to me possibly points to a lack of empathy. And when he was asked, did Kouri love you? He was kind of like, well, kind of like, because looking back, I don't know that he would call what she had for him love. He might be feeling used.
Oh, I think so too. And I think once he like combed over all that stuff,
Mhm.
and he made that statement like, well, once I start looking back, or I feel like I really need to say something. He was really trying to get stuff in. And I mean, obviously the judge, and luckily the judge didn't let him because it could have thrown off the whole trial. But yes, speaking of Kouri and her reaction to him, when he did that whole little stunt at the beginning, she was smiling. She, to me, you could see kind of the lust, if you will, in her eyes of there is something there. And then also, like you said, when she's snacking and doing this, one thing that I think the jury has seen, because I mean, this is what I've seen through the evidence, is I'm like, she doesn't have a connection to anything around her, anyone around her. She's so just, huh.
So to me, she seemed to get emotional when the best friend that gave her the best friend that invested the $45,000 and ended up getting evicted. So when that friend was breaking down, to me, it did look like Kouri was did feel sad. Potential, I don't know. That was the only witness that it seemed like their emotions seemed to affect her because that was the only witness where I saw that.
And let's take a side journey about
Yes.
that witness and
Go
the
ahead.
other witness who I can't remember her name. It starts with an A. We call her the supermodel witness.
Ooh, is it Ariel? But that's probably not it. I want her to
It's
be like
like,
a Disney princess.
you know who I'm talking about? Like, she was so gorgeous, but she was still seemingly friends with Kouri, like, or something where I was like, oh, okay.
Allie. Somebody said Allie.
Allie. Okay, yeah,
See, I'm
Allie.
so bad with names. You can't trust me.
Yeah, Allie Staking, right? I knew it was an A name, and it's like we dubbed her the supermodel friend because she
She's
just
great.
had gorgeous, and just the look of her. I was like, this girl needs to be on a runway. Like, what is she like? Where does she come from? How is she friends with Kouri? Right? She's so it's like whatever.
And
Anyways,
Kouri probably sees herself on that friend's level. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Kouri looks at her and thinks like she can't compete or that friend is, I don't know. But
oh yeah.
that friend to me seemed to want to please Kouri, I think. Because at one point, I think she apologized for something or like it was a joke, or like she said something under her breath and directed it Corey's direction. Because some of the things she said on the stand to me hurt Kouri. It's like, we were just don't eat anything Kouri gives you. And we're like, you know why she's she's on trial for possibly poisoning her husband. But like, we all just had this joke. Like, Eric was laughing that she tried to kill him, and it's like, she's been charged with that as a crime, right? And
Yeah, she seemed very shy because at one point the judge, somebody was like, could you get up and go point to the whatever it was, and she said, I really don't want to. And I'm like, you know what, I get it, you're on TV, you're being picked apart, it's weird, you're in there. But it was like she couldn't even make eye contact at times, and it was so wild. And I was like, yes, she seems to really be under Kouri's spell. And I wonder if she's gone back over things and really looked at them and been like, this is because almost like imagine if somebody was going up there and right before they're testifying, they're starting to realize, oh, wait, my friend actually is a terrible person. And now I'm getting up here and probably going to say good things. I don't know. I just think there's a lot going on there. And when she first got up there, I was like, let's find out how Kouri ripped her off.
Yeah.
And she didn't really have that story the same way that everybody else does of, maybe Kouri didn't have time to. I don't know. But I was just like, oh, okay. So she didn't rip her off. And like, oh, they're still friends on some. Oh, okay. This is whoa. Because the one before her, oh, I felt like she was shooting daggers at Kouri. Like she was ready to lunge over that thing. And that was one of the few that the defense actually was like, yep, we're all good. We don't have any questions. They actually could maybe read the room and see, yeah, we don't need to ask her anything. She might actually harm Kouri. So yeah, those two witnesses were, but they also the narrative and the story that they tell of what used to be and what was, and you see the depths, especially the one who got her house evicted from her. This is hard. I mean, I'm listening to this, and surely the jury was like, I can't imagine my best friend doing this to me. This is a life devastating thing. She saved up 45 grand to save up $45,000 for a down payment. And then you end up getting evicted. Who knows what she put into the house thinking it was hers, along the way, repaired, whatever. And that yanked away. And you're sitting here across the way, your friend's sitting right there. Oh, I can't fathom the trauma and anger that would bring up at all.
Yeah. Because I like to joke on my channel, take, $1,000 for me and I'll have, but to me, Chelsea, so that was the friend that testified about her financial experience with Kouri, and also like some of the recorded messages and things came in, and she just seemed to be answering the questions. You could see the emotion on her face, but to me, she didn't seem like she was trying to say something that wasn't true. Do you know? So like you steal $45,000 from me. I'm gonna make sure I tell, but like you could want that person to be found guilty. But like she just seemed to come across just like she just answered the questions and she just provided the information, and it really is going to be up to the jury.
Oh, completely. And I'll be curious too, because I thought we were getting in the short rows with the state's case, but now that we've had the delay and blah, 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 it's like, okay, this is probably going to go on several more days. Originally, the state had said we might be able to get to our last witness on Monday, which you already knew. That's no. And so then it was like, well, maybe today. Obviously, they only had one witness, and now a delay for tomorrow over this whole, Carmen's interview or whatever. And I'm thinking now maybe the rest of the week for the state's case before we can even get to what the defense will do. And again, of course, the $1 million question is, at this point, will Kouri testify? I don't think she will, because to me, Kouri, nothing major has happened, such as in the Murdoch trial, where the last minute that whole evidence came out of the dog shed and the Snapchat, and it was like, you're going to have to explain yourself on some level. There's clearly tons of stuff that it's like, well, yeah, what do you have to say for yourself, Kouri? But not any bombshell thing of like, you're going to have to talk your way out of this. And she, to me, has looked scared this whole time. The majority of the emotion I'm reading from her face is frightened, not, well, hold my beer, I can tell, that kind of a thing. Or I would think she would take the stand, but time will tell. What do you think? Do you think she'll take it or not?
So I think it depends on what other people say and if she thinks that's enough. So I think she would rather other people get up and say what she would want to say, because the defense in their opening said they have friends. They're going to come up and say, Eric's friends are going to say their marriage was fine. We will see if they call any of those people. The defense said a lot in their opening. I don't think Kouri will come across well on cross-examination, maybe even on direct. She's not coming across as a grieving widow. Like, she seems just pissed to be there. like she just seems mad sometimes. And sometimes she just seems neutral. And then when things aren't being answered the way that she might think they should be. Like she's making faces at the witnesses. And it's my understanding this jury is being very observant and they are watching everything. And so we will see.
Yeah, because that's a good point too about the faces she seems to be making, et cetera, et cetera. It's like I think they would be able to get under her skin very easily if she was on the stand and she would show out.
Yeah.
And there is so many things that you could open the door to that it's like you're gonna have to go there now. And that's gonna be her worst enemy.
And she seems reactive to me. Like she
Mhm.
doesn't seem now. I don't because I think she could prepare what she wanted to say, but on cross-examination, I don't personally think that would go well. And I think they could. If she gets on the stand, I think they do get to bring in things she said. They get to
Mhm.
impeach her, I think, with things with like I think they do get to bring up other things excuse me, that she said. I'm not a lawyer. I listen to the lawyers talk about these things, but yeah.
What's the vibe out there in lawyer land, lawyer YouTube land of like, what are they saying? Are they like, what are we watching? I've only really talked to Joshua Ritter about it. So what's your vibe on things you're seeing out there?
So I think there are times that the defense has tried to make a point and they didn't maybe make the point that they thought they were trying to make. And I don't know, like some of those things just so those are some of the things that I've heard. There are some people that think her team is doing a good job, and I want a defendant to have a good defense because I don't want it to be turned over on appeal. And I
Mhm.
think the judge. So of everyone in this whole case, to me, the judge, he is acting like the parent of everybody, and he's just like, stop that, sit down, like
He
let's
really
all
is.
take a breath. Y'all are interrupting me. Like y'all are, if anybody's getting faces made, like y'all are making faces at me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, he's like reasonable Richard, he's just so even keel and like, okay. Now he does seem to be kind like when I say losing his patience, like for his version of losing his patience, because some of the stuff, just like today, where he was just going around and around with the defense, there seems to be a communication issue between the defense and everybody else with speaking the same
Mm,
language. Do
I
you think
don't
it's intentional?
I think when they don't get their way, so I heard one lawyer, it's called JD Explains. He pretty much described one of the lawyers as like when she didn't get her way, it was she would just keep saying the same thing over and over again. So the argument over Eric's um the individual that he owned the business with, because the defense really wants to try to get in to say that Eric had a drug problem. They
Mhm.
really want there to be this major drug problem when they were talking about Sudafed. And but the defense is like, no, we have this expert that says that that was a different drug. It was an illicit drug back then, and we have this memo that says. And so the defense, because they're trying to help their client, and so they're trying to do what they can, but um they elicited the hearsay, and then they were mad that it was a whole mess. It was a whole mess. And so JD explains he's a lawyer. He does short little clips, like he does like
Mhm.
15 to 20-minute videos. And he did a really good job just breaking down. He kind of called her a crying baby. Like, I don't he kind of like he was kind of like, oh, I'm not getting my
Mhm.
way. That's
It does have that feeling to it, right? Where they just keep like somebody in the chat room today was saying something like I think it was police wife Amy said they're like, two teenage girls who are,
boy.
wearing their father down, trying to get the answer that they want to something, and they keep going and going until they just wear their parent down. It's like, okay, you can stay out till 11 o'clock. Is that a good compromise? And I was like, it really does feel like that. And maybe that's a tactic that attorneys know to use is let's just keep wearing them down, but it just doesn't come off.
And I think they're trying to do an appeal record. So when things start going so I think they're trying to save things for appeal. I think they know their client. I think they know this isn't looking good for their client. And if she is convicted, I think they want, because if they don't make the proper objection, it can be ineffective assistance of counsel. Do you like if they didn't do what they needed to do, it can look like she didn't have good counsel. But it comes off painful for me personally. Exactly. You can defend your client without being slimy. And so
100%.
with Eric's business partner, to me, the defense was trying to attack, making it sound like he was out for money and like he was now his, net worth has, and he's just like, he would rather have his friend. Like he didn't say that on the stand, but you could just tell how heartbroken he was that at the insinuation of like, so what's your net worth? Like what did you put on your taxes? And he's just like, how is that? Because I think they were trying to say that, that he benefited somehow. And even if he did, but it wasn't his actions. Like he's not the one on trial. And to me, he was a sympathetic witness. And the defense did that with Carmen because they pointed out Carmen's learning disorder and then passed her all these things to read. And then, like, with multiple witnesses that to me were very they were sympathetic witnesses, I think the defense went really hard at them and it almost felt like bullying. I'm not going to go that far but like it felt bad. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it definitely had a bad feeling to it. And I like that you brought the point up about when they pointed out Carmen's learning disability and then like did all they could to almost trigger it, and like to run her through the coals with it. And I felt, again, there's so many instances where the defense has shown the jury just being just not great people, and I don't know if that's the proper way to say that, but just doing slimy things like the person said a minute ago, just like that, where it's like you made her cry about her learning disability, then you're asking her to do all this stuff. Even everyone in that situation with that was like, wait, okay, what are we talking about? Where was this date? It was so confusing. They completely lost the jury, and that, I feel like that's what they're trying to do now by bringing in the entire 7 hours of Carmen's interview. And it's like, why does that even make sense? But like you said, there's probably a certain level where the defense is like, look, we got to cover this is some CYAs going on here.
Yeah.
And so they're like, look, we got to dot our I's and cross our T's for our own thing.
Yes.
So they're probably like, look, somebody's going to have to draw the short straw to get up here and say this because we know we're going to sound dumb, but we have to do it. I also am curious what you think of this. And I don't know how this works or if this even happens. So this is a hypothetical. But in this situation, I would think that when the defense came on, and this is like the second team, whatever, that they might have looked at it and been like, look, our suggestion after we see what evidence is here is that you go for a plea deal, right? Like this is really, they got a lot against you, the best you could hope for, the worst you could hope for. These are the parameters. And I would just assume that Kouri would be like, nope, we are going to trial. And they might not have offered her one. So some of it, I feel like the defense is, they're working with what they have to, and their preference probably would have been like, this is not a defendable case, this is a plea case, but our client wants to take it to trial, so here we go.
There are holes. So they can't put Fent in her hands.
True.
Directly. It's kind of, especially with the schmugs, like with Robbie flipping and saying, oh no, I never. But I think that was more about civil. I don't know. Like that seemed convenient because when we watched his police interview, he seemed level-headed because on the stand, he was trying to make it sound like he was detoxing and he was out of his mind, but like he seemed coherent to me. He could have been he could have been detoxing, but it didn't seem like he didn't know what he was talking about to me. That'll be up to the jury to decide, but yeah.
Here's another thing too. So I was recording earlier my reaction video to Kouri's phone call to the medical examiner where she's like going through and being like, yeah, so can we talk about this? And he's telling her, no, this was like illicit fentanyl. And then when she's like, "Well, how did it get in there?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, people don't really eat it or something like that." And in my world, I'm thinking, I thought fentanyl was a pill. Like,
Oh,
is that not a thing? Like, how do you take fentanyl? I thought it was always a pill or something.
so I think he meant, like, it's not in somebody's, like, food. So I think he meant, like, in the stomach. I don't I'm you yeah, I would have to go back and look at some of his testimony because I wonder if he was saying, like, oh, because I think she said ingest. I think she said, "How could he have eaten
Mhm.
it?" 'Cause I think she said eaten. And to me, when I think of somebody eating something, I think of it being, like, in food or something.
Mhm.
I don't
Okay,
know.
wait, a lot of people are saying and okay, it can be injected in a patch, crusted, ingest versus eat. Okay, fentanyl patch, lollipop, or met. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the PI would be a wonderful to have on here, Donna. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, the phone call to the medical examiner was a whole other layer of just what because we also saw the text messages from the friend that she stole the $45,000 in the house from, and she was like, "Oh my god, girl, it's almost over. There's traces of fentanyl. They're gonna close this out." Well, then we hear her talking to the medical examiner, and she's like, "Yeah, and the whole fentanyl thing is like 15 milligrams, whatever. Is that a trace or is it a lot?" And he's like, that's like people die from way less than that, you know? So
Yeah.
she knows that you see how everyone gets a different story,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's the other thing too, and I use like my dad's situation when he passed, which was a long time ago, but there was an autopsy. And I was like, we knew what he was going to die from. And he died from something similar, like in that realm, but not that, and not what
Yeah.
we thought.
Yeah.
But we still did an autopsy just to be like, well, what kind of stuff's going on for my sake? And like what exactly happened and all that.
Yeah.
And we weren't like upset at the autopsy results. It was like way later and whatever. So I'm not expecting Kouri to be crying on the phone call, but not also sounding like she's doing a return at TJ Maxx with the manager on the phone and being like, what about line 3 on the receipt for these? Why did I get charged for that? That's exactly the tone of it to
But
me.
I think she was trying to see, what do y'all know?
Oh,
What
yeah.
and then where is this investigate? Because I think the estate had said the estate was waiting on this report to determine if she could get money.
Mhm.
So they were waiting on the autopsy to determine his manner of death so that they could then decide if because from one of his sisters from the start thought it was Kouri. I do just want to answer a question because somebody
Okay.
Minty Fret asked about uh Eric's business partner talking about him in the present tense. And just based on Google, so I don't know this to be true, sometimes people in the LDS faith, sometimes they talk about people that are deceased. It's common to talk about people in the present tense. So I don't know if that's why he did it. It might have also been easier for him to talk about what happened in the present tense versus past tense because that might have been more emotional to talk about his versus talking about Eric and just talking about him in the present tense. That might have been less like easier to do. But yeah.
Another thing too, and let me ask you this real quick because I keep forgetting to ask you, so I'm just going to throw this in there.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is my thought process on what I'm about to say. You tell me what yours is and your thoughts, whatever. I do not think that when Kouri pulled this off, again, this is alleged, she hasn't been found guilty,
Mhm.
but I do not think that she thought it would get to the point of them doing the toxicology, doing all this. I feel like she thought, I'm going to pull this off, do this, get this money. I'm going to bat my eyes and do whatever I have to do. And so when they were like, well, actually, this is very rare. We're going to take him off. We're going to do a tox and autopsy. She then had to start reconstructing a whole new narrative and be like, oh, we need to redo this. And that's the part that I'm like, why you thought that you could give him a massive amount of fentanyl and nobody would find this out? A 39-year-old healthy male just drops dead in the middle of the night. What are your thoughts on like, do you think she was planning it or whatever?
I think one of the ENT or one of the people that responded said it could have been a brain aneurysm. Like, I think that's where the whole brain aneurysm came from. Do you know what I mean? So even the people on the scene, they if it hadn't been for the toxicology report, they wouldn't have known how. And so, uh thankfully, because it's my understanding that in Eric's estate, that he had determined that he wanted to be buried versus being cremated. And I think because of all of that planning he did when he was alive, I think that helped him in his death, if that makes sense. Because if it had been up to Kouri, she probably would have cremated him fast, like Chad Daybell, or I think she likely would have, if she could have had the option to waive the autopsy, but she doesn't want to look suspicious. And it could look suspicious to do that because I think the THC gummies arrive after after that initial screen of everything. And I think she didn't know that he would test negative for THC. And so it was so much. So much.
Oh yeah, and then the whole THC thing, like that whole thing being thrown in there. The other thing too with the defense's narrative of we're trying to prove a hidden drug problem on Eric's part. And I get why they would want to do that. And so I understand, like, look, I got it, I get it. But there's so little evidence towards it that it's just like this is not it's not happening. I gotta go get the dog so he'll start
No worries.
screaming. I'll be
No
right
worries.
back.
No worries. Thank you all for being here. Make sure, yes. And so I'm just scanning to see. Let us know if you have any questions about this case. Hmm. Welcome, welcome. Hello to anyone watching on replay. I see you all mentioning the gummies. And yes. Oh. Yes. Somebody mentioned that on the body cam the first night, Kouri said that Eric didn't do any drugs. I wonder if the jurors will go back to that. I don't know.
Sorry about that. We did a relocation to up here.
Yes.
They've got it like about a 45-minute window span, and they're like, okay, where'd you go? What's going on? We have to come up there. So yeah, so all the different things that the defense is trying to do, which we see this happen in different cases too. Like they're just doing their job, right? It's just the way they're going about it, but trying to come up with anything that they can throw off for that reasonable doubt. And again, like we said earlier, at the end of the day, even though I believe that Kouri did this, there is no video of Kouri crushing these pills, whatever it was, and putting it in a drink and handing it to him. So if there is somebody on the jury that's that type person that's like, I have to see them do it. I had to see that or I can't convict. Now, mind you, there's all these other charges going on too. That's a whole other story. I also think the attempted murder charge definitely is like, that's been forgotten about. It's hardly talked about that much at all. Someone said in the chat, they were like, and I think it was Northwest that might have said this, if they convict on the main charge, they'll convict on the attempted kind of a situation. Not guilty on the February 14th one. Yeah, the Valentine Day one is just, they just haven't presented that much. But also this has so many pieces to the puzzle to make the whole picture. Yes. Because there's no smoking gun. And she's a pathological liar everyone has a different version of Kouri and a different story. Mm-hmm. So it's like they had to go through and pick this and pick that and put it together. And here she did this and here she said this. And it's just like, whoa, it's crazy.
It really is. It really is. And often we get questions about whether somebody might be a psychopath, narcissist, like a lot of different labels get thrown around. And to me, based on hearing a lot about Kouri, so I can't diagnose her. We can talk in general about patterns. It seems like she put her needs first above anybody else's. And it seems like she lied. So to me, the phone calls where she was saying, "I don't care about the money. I just want my house." I don't think that was true. I think she wanted both. And I think she was trying to, so we call it a smear campaign, where she's trying to make it sound like Eric's sisters are making her children homeless, when like his sisters were just trying to protect the estate the way that their brother wanted them to. And because Corey's friends probably thought, Eric's sisters were evil and like, oh my gosh, like how could they think she had anything to do with this? Because they didn't see the whole picture. Because when Allie was on the stand and Allie was like, oh yeah, that affair ended. Oh, and like, but I think the affair was still going on when Allie came for that visit. Allie wasn't aware that the affair was still going on. And I just wonder if any of the jurors will catch any of those things. And while those things should not convict somebody, because so you can be a horrible person and be guilty, and be innocent of a crime. So just because Kouri like didn't make good decisions, I don't that should necessarily do anything. I don't see how the jurors can get past her Googling, if someone dies or someone's poisoned, what does it go down on a death certificate? Because there was no indication that he was poisoned. And so it's like, why are you looking for that search? Like there are a few things in cases that where it's like, I can't get over that particular Google search.
100%. Spot on with so much of all you've said. And pardon me, I think one thing also that we saw with a lot of the witnesses and her former friends is that, so for example, the one she stole the house from, basically, when she's up there and they're playing the text messages and she's like, oh, basically F his sisters and I can't believe they did this. They're probably sitting here thinking, I can't believe, number one, the family's sitting here seeing this. Number two, I don't think this way anymore, because the depth and depravity of Corey's lies and scheming, and how she victimized these other people, not just financially, but like in these other ways. I mean, this is traumatizing to be like, oh my gosh, like this person had me snowed, not only in that way, but it looks like they killed her husband over it too. And made me think that his family was these horrible people when they were just trying to protect what their brother wanted, and whatever. They kind of saw it quicker. The ripple effect of devastation that she caused to so many people is mind-numbing in this case.
And she will never take responsibility for that. I think she will blame other people for that and think this was unfair. The jury, I don't know, like I don't think, or she'll blame her lawyers. I don't think she'll ever take responsibility for her part. And somebody asked in the comments about Corey's mom. So I saw that you covered Corey's Sedona letter, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch your coverage of that, because that is deep. Because she goes into talking about having kind of sounds like a chaotic life. It sounds like they moved around a lot. Her dad was arrested for a major crime. Her mom, according to Kouri, had a gambling addiction, and that caused financial issues. And I don't think Kouri would see her business style as gambling, but it was gambling, because she was over here high stakes, putting all her chips. I don't gamble. So I do the penny slots in Vegas for like, that's like pressing the button. I do like $5 of penny slots. I just push the button. I get my free drink, and then I go shop or something. Like I want something I know I can guarantee. I know I can take home. But I don't think she'll ever see that like what she was doing was gambling, and she was gambling away her children's future. Eric, I'm so glad that he protected his estate, because I think she would have squandered it in under a year. Because I did a video with my mom. She is an accountant. If y'all go to my page, it's like 2 or 3. It's a live video, and we talked about the forensic accountant. I loved her testimony too. This case had a lot of really good testimony.
Oh, completely. Now, side note, before I forget to ask you this, are you going to CrimeCon this year?
No.
Speaking of Vegas, okay.
I know.
Yeah. So Yeah, the gambling thing with the Sedona letter, 100%. She literally described if what she's seen is true, right? Because I don't know how much of this is confirmed and whatnot and embellished and blah, 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 blah. But when she described in the Sedona letter, I'm like, Corey's literally doing the same thing to her kids and her family. It's insane. Like the what do you call it? The generational repetition of stuff or whatever.
But worse, because she at least still had her mother physically there. Her
Yeah.
children have lost both of their parents.
Yep. Oh, completely. And it's like,
And in her call, in the messages, we don't see any, like, you don't hear, and the state might have kept texts about the children out, or there might have been some things that have been redacted, but she seems so, like, concerned about what she's going through and what, like, all this me, and because even in that police body cam video that we reviewed together, I just could not believe that she wasn't hugging her children. Do you like, her children are aware that they've lost their dad, and she's over here with the officer.
oh yeah. Now another thing too, when I was doing the 911
Yes.
thing and looking at it, in the 911 phone call, the kids come in the room and she's like, "Get out of the room, get out of the room, get out of the room," whatever. So I was like, "Oh, so the kids knew from the get-go that something horrible is going on." They're in their room, and because remember the part where her mom was like, Corey's mother was like, "I told him to go back to bed. It's 4 in the morning." And I'm like, they just watched their dad get wheeled out of the house on a stretcher. Now we know that they went into the room and saw him, like whatever was going down in that moment. Like it's that disconnect where I'm just like, how, is this real? But then when you see how her mother is towards her, it's that same thing where it's just this,
She
yeah.
seemed cold. Her,
Mhm.
like, as Corey is like, or her mom knew that it was not authentic, and I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't, or maybe mom was trying to stay out of, like, yeah.
Yeah, I got a vibe almost where the mom was like, "Okay, but if I come over, are we getting arrested?"
She was there earlier that day, and
So if I come over, am I going home, not in
Corey's the one that
handcuffs?
asked Carmen for something stronger. So, I mean, like, I think Corey clearly, but, like,
I mean, you can't tell me that Corey wasn't like, even if they were this like distant, a mother knows like you can't tell me that the mom wasn't sitting there watching Corey being like, yeah, I've seen this routine before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mom in her mind is like, "Money, money, money." Like, and so, and no, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, it did not seem, I did not see distress
yeah,
in Corey's mom. But everybody grieves different. I cannot say anything for sure, but, like, it was strange. And the officers noticed that Corey would not look at them, because I think her face was dry. I don't think all that crying, and I don't think there were any, I don't think there were any tears. Um, we love to hear the puppies. Oh, so, yeah. Kathy
sorry,
mentioned, so did you see the text about the hush puppies? Because I missed that one.
I missed it, but so many people have talked about it.
Okay. So, I don't, so I saw the question about the hush puppies, and I missed that text, because honestly, when they're just going through text after text after text, Emily D. Baker read them all out loud. Did you read them on your channel, or did you just let them scroll?
Did some of the reading of it, and actually tomorrow's video in the main
Oh,
channel is me
oh,
reading like there's a 30-minute block or of like the most intense text messages, and it's like a
okay.
dramatic reading that I'm doing between him and Corey. The hush puppy text message is him basically saying something about he ate some hush puppies and passed out from them and woke up like hours and hours later. And so everyone's kind of like, did she try and kill him too, or do a test run on him?
Hmm.
So that's kind of where everybody's going with that, and I'm like, it could be, like, I mean, maybe she tried, I don't know. I don't know what her point would be to kill him, but I don't know.
Well, also to have people not, because remember, we know about the affair because of his phone. We wouldn't have known about it had it not been for his phone.
I mean, this is true, and there's no telling the depths that she would have gone to. Because again, what's frightening to think of with these people like Kouri and Brian Walsh's and all these people is what would happen if they got away with the crime and were able to continue. Because with Kouri, I would give her not even 6 months before she had run through all that money and it was gone. The debt that she was in, his insurance and stuff. Now, mind you, she would have had to sell the house and do this and whatever, but she that money would not have touched it would not have, no. And the way that she kept accruing debt, she made really poor financial decisions, like really poor ones.
That's putting it light.
Like she thought she was willing and dealing. Huh?
A really poor financial decision might be like, oh, you missed a mortgage payment or something. She's out here with 50,000, was it 50, maybe 5,000? It was $5,000 of overdraft charges. Just charges. Over 200 overdrafts. Like that would give me so much anxiety.
I mean, the level of stress. What was her minimum payment every day? It was like a couple of grand she had to come up with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sleep. I mean, I would be a absolute train wreck, you know. But all these poor financial decisions that she's making and whatnot, I'm like, oh, this was just like there was no end game. And like she probably would have been like, well, I'm gonna just take the money from this and go buy another property and flip it. And she would have been in such, and then so I sit here, I'm like, who was gonna get an insurance policy on them next? That was my fear with her if she got away with it.
And that's where it felt like gambling. And I think the state has done a really good job proving that Eric did not agree to the $250,000 home equity line of credit. I wasn't aware that Eric's business loaned her $200,000 because so Kouri made it sound like he didn't support her at all. But I think the way that she handled things, and she was getting a salary from his business too, and it was this case. I thought we knew a lot about it going in. I found out more during this trial. I was like, the state was holding back. Like, I did not realize how much there really was and we still haven't gotten to the walk the dog letter.
I mean, that's the thing. You said it perfectly. It's like we already knew that this was going to be a pretty salacious, like, oh my gosh, the walk the dog letter is going to be about this and that. But once they got into it and started all the stuff coming out, I'm like, wait, let me get I've been glued to this. For me to be able to stream and sit here every minute of it just about is like insane. But I was telling somebody, I was like, this is better than the soap operas when I was growing up, where it's just like, well, what are they going to do tomorrow in Port Charles? I'm like, you never know what's going to happen. It's like every day it's next level. And the stuff that comes out in the stand, you're just like, like, how did she, and who knows how many of these kind of people are walking around doing the same stuff right now. Right. And she just got caught. It's been the wildest trial in that way. I don't know what could match it, but somebody will say, hold my beer before the year is up. Sadly.
It was this has been a lot. But I'm glad that we got to chat about it. And I'm glad that your channel. And I will share it on my stream when it goes live, because we are going to record a video of just us. So thank you all for watching. It is late in the evening, and I love that we popcorn it. So this is just our thoughts as they come, and then that we'll do a pre-recorded video that will come out on your channel at a later time.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and talking. Thank you, Psych Nerds, for joining. Thank you, Sofa Squad, for joining, and the great conversation and comments and your insight as always, Dr. Barry, and your wonderful personality. It's great to always have you over here at the sofa. And yes, we will be doing that pre-recorded video for the main channel, I think like next week or something. We'll talk even more. And then that's it. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.